you notice anything different, but I have two hands. I have a tripod. I'm totally stoked. I am excited about this group of amazing women. I've been reading over all of the wonderful things that you guys have been sharing. I think it's amazing that we can go to each other and ask for, you know, whether it be prayer or to someone to be thinking about them or things that have been made better because they've been able to contemplate over these things. It's been really just amazing to look over and watch. So today I'm not going to keep you like I did last time for one full hour. I have read some of the things of maybe some confusion on how to start or where to put certain things in your Ren or your Project Me journal. And I'm going to kind of clarify those things a little bit and kind of make them less mysterious. But with the Project Me, we've got it categorized with mind, body, and soul, and that's if anyone is new. You know, we've broken it up into 3 categories, and I've got mine. I also had written that this is a place to, I like it when you keep us on for an hour, oh gosh. And this, you know, this is honestly not a place where you got to feel like you've got to be completely artistic or like the pressure's on. You know what I mean? I want you to use this like a workbook. And if you want to be doing something fun with it artistically, then do it. But if honestly, this is something where I find I just want to get everything out of my head and put it on this paper. So that's kind of what I recommend. It's like something where don't worry about how pretty it is. I want you to focus on what you're putting in. So I'm going to we're going to recap just a tad, and then I'm going to go back to some new things to kind of add to your journal. Because what you're going to want to do is basically, when I'm talking about, let's say your body, then you're going to want to go into that section of body and you're going to just start scripting out, how can I, what can I do to nourish my body? That would be a place of where you can really contemplate, hey, I want to start to do this. I want to implement that. And always remembering to only speak things that you want to come to pass. You never really want to even journal things that you hate or hate about your body. You never really want to do that. You want to always speak and write down things that you want to come to pass and even visualize down the road and see yourself looking and being the way you want. And that's part of just being a visionary for your life. And when you do that, your body, and when you believe that and you act upon it, your body just flows and does it and drops that weight as well. But you need to make sure that you are nourishing your body too. I'm going to dive right in. When we get to we're in the body section. I'm going to start with body, and you know, I wrote down things. I hate diets. I really, really do. I talked about that last time. I think diets can be hard, and they can get you where you want to be, but then sometimes it's hard to maintain it and things like that. But I've got an idea. What if, and I got this idea from The Way Down, which is really kind of silly that you'd need to get it from a book, because I mean, you're built with it, okay? God gave us cues to when we're hungry and when we're full, but do we ever listen? We don't. I mean, I was saying yesterday on my scope, you know how many times I eat in the middle of hunger and fullness? I'm like, hey, is that a cookie? Let's totally eat it. I'm neither hungry nor full, but let's do it. Your body needs to, when your body needs fuel, it'll cue it. Okay, so that's when you're hungry. So when you're hungry, that's the time that's your cue to eat or drink until you're satisfied. So think about that. If you can really get that down and understand that, you're set for life. You're completely set for life. If you can listen to the cues. And I like this method because there's always events and there's always things that do come into play in our lives that you won't necessarily have to omit them. You'd only do it if you felt like, well, I don't want to really bloat on my appetite on that cake. I'd rather eat this. This time you're more rating foods and rating them, and you're saying, I'm going to pass on that. this dip looks really good. You know, so now you're into really saying, hey, I've got this window of when I'm hungry. I'm going to pick this and pick the very best. Just eat when you're hungry. That's so true. And so if you want to try to stay within the times of when your family's eating, then try to go and stretch yourself so that you will be hungry when it is time when your family's eating together or whatnot. And then when don't eat till you're stuffed, eat till you're satisfied. And so these kind of things are just something that God has already built in, so we don't have to worry about it and stress about it. And then we get into that horrible hate talk of how much we hate our bodies and how much we wish we were that girl or had that body and all of that. Just start to love yourself now and begin to listen to cues when you're hungry and enjoy food. I mean, I think sometimes we're just such and you don't have to finish the plate and you don't have to skip meals, but you can if you're not hungry. I mean, that's true too. Don't eat just because it's a meal time. I would skip it. I mean, if you're not hungry, don't ever eat when you're not hungry, because then your body doesn't know what to do with that food. So anyways, I have just always found that it's been very freeing and an amazing way to live your life because nothing is really omitted. You can enjoy things again in moderation, and you can get rid of that diet mentality. And because we've been into that diet mentality, there's those forbidden foods, and those actually then make you want them more. And then that's how you fall off the wagon, because you start binging. I remember, man, when I was in my 20s and I had a bunch of littles and I was always on the low carb, I would just completely crack. And after 1 month, I would see like candy, like it was like Halloween, so they had all that Halloween candy out, and I would totally like eat a whole bag. I couldn't even unwrap the chocolate quick enough. I just wanted to just eat it all because it was forbidden. I couldn't have any carbs, any sweets, no sugar, nothing. So it was kind of like when it was but if I'm already in a state like this, then I'll be like, I'll pass on it. It's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? So I want you to think about that. And so I kind of wrote down some things in my body section. This is just for inspiration only. You can do it the way you want. But I wrote down in mine how, different things that I'd love to just implement and make sure my body has. And I already kind of eat this way, but I wanted to just really kind of put it in there. And for exercise, I want to do it because I'm enjoying my time with my family and I'm having a really good time. I don't want to sit there and feel like I have to exercise or I'm gonna blow it with this diet. I want exercise to be something that I enjoy. And if I can't get to it one day because I'm busy with babies, then I'm not gonna stress out. Or if, you know what I mean? That's something that we do already because we love our bodies and we love to exercise and we're having a good time. Don't make it something that you have to do, because again, then you're going to start to loathe it. So find something that you love, whether it be a bike or just running around with your babes, or you take a walk with your husband after dinner. Those kind of things are amazing ways to implement exercise without it feeling like it's a chore. So I wrote that down. I was like, I'm going to implement those things when I can, or jumping on the trampoline with my kids or whatnot. And I love it when I can. I always make sure that I'm having grass-fed butter that's very nourishing. Ezekiel bread is better than any Wonder Bread or cheap bread on the market. There's those sprouted breads that are great. I always make sure that they're organic and no GMOs and they're not sprayed. That's something that I want to choose to have for my family. The cage-free eggs, stuff like that. I'm just kind of writing it down and making sure that I'm listening to my body and creating an awareness and a consciousness of when I'm eating and why I'm doing it. So if you feel like you're craving something and you're not even hungry, then begin to do something that you enjoy instead. So like, maybe you could go get in the Word, or you could do a craft, or you could journal or something like that. Just get your mind off of it, and pretty soon you'll create new patterns. So I saw someone said, I can't help it, I want to, and we've all been there, where I say, I'm gonna now do this, and then they go and eat in the fridge, and then it's all blown. But honestly, I think if we set new patterns and we speak new truths and we say, you know what, I am thin, I am beautiful, and command your days. You wake up commanding them, saying, I'm going to have this amazing day. It's going to be enriched, and I'm going to be blessed, and there will be God's favor over my life. And you know what? All of that thing comes into play because of how God created it. Whether you believe it or not, I believe that God has created that law of attraction, the spiritual attraction. And just like there's a spiritual realm, just like there is a physical realm. And so what we do say, there's scientific evidence that what we say affects. I've heard water molecules change. Things change when you speak things, whether negatively or positively. So never say anything that is negative about yourself. So, and that's kind of how I just kind of wrote things I want to consciously do, and within 30 days, kind of changing those habits and stuff like that. So also what really does help is when you do rate your foods, when you're hungry, rate it. Because you can only eat so much. And it's like, I'm not going to eat that candy. I'd rather have that sandwich or something like that. So start rating it. I learned that from the Way Down book, and it was very, very helpful. So I'm going to be having some good recipes, so look for them, and I will make sure that I post them as they come up. But on my Planet Perfect Meals blog, when I am inspired with new recipes that are nourishing for your body, I'll put them up. Though nothing is forbidden, it's always good to always make sure that you're nourishing your body. So I will put up new recipes as the time goes on. I'll make sure to do that. I think I will talk about that next time. But over in the mind, also, which is really interesting and I wanted to cover, is that, the thing about women, and I discussed this in my scope too, is that, we've really kind of come full circle again, but we're still not quite there. And this is why it's so important that women understand that who they are outside the roles that they play. Because, back in the 50s and 60s, there was that Betty Crocker mother, that perfect image of a housewife, right? And she dove into her duties and, everything. She was mother all the way, just mother and nurturer and home, taking care of the home. And then, there was I think it was the 60s or so, but when they burned the bras, we are women, and they're burning the bras, and they're just like, we don't need men and all of that kind of stuff. And that happens when women start to lose themselves and put themselves solely into their identity, into the roles that they play. We don't need to do that. Then in the 70s and 80s, it's women went back to work. They're like, listen, I've been there, done that. I'm kind of bored. I need to use the best of me. And they think that the only alternative is to leave the home. And now I think we're all back, but now we're busy. We might be back home. The homeschooling's really boomed. And I feel like women now are just so into their kids that they're too busy to know who they are too now. So now it's like all kid, all there. I think, to me, there needs to be the balance. You need to know who you are as a woman. You need to pursue your personal goals and use your gifts and talents. And you need to find those passions and use them. You need to be an example for your children. You have to be. You have to lead by example. If you're just going to be a martyr and push them off, I said this in my scope, see you later, make millions, love the Lord, and serve, while you just sit back and just give it all to them, that is not a proper way to show and teach. You need to be the one to do it first and show them how it's done, okay? And you can do it if you choose and be home. So I don't want you girls to think, that you got to pack your bags and go to work to find your identity, or you got to just know who you are already, where you're at, and the role you've been planted, and you can do it there. So wherever you're at, you can work it where you're at. You don't got to move and leave and all of that necessarily. So unless you feel led, like you need to leave, like your passion wasn't there. So, I just feel like, the busyness is overrated. And then domestically, I feel like women have lost their love for their home, and they're not cooking, they're eating in their cars. There's no such thing as dinners now around the table, and there's no traditions being made. I think it's exciting to be able to get back in your home. And when you totally know who you are and you're working from your authentic self, right, Benita? When you're working from your authentic self, you then can find more joy in your role. You're now feeling like, this is it. This is it for me. I feel good. I can now be a mother wholeheartedly, dive in 100%, because I know who I am, and I know what I'm pursuing, and I know my goals, and I know what my gifts and talents are. So it's so very vital. And then now you can pull back into your kitchen. You can learn to love your kitchen. One of the things my mom taught me was, get into your kitchen and make sure everything is amazing. I mean, take times according to the budget and get out of the cupboards, clean out your cupboards. Only put up, my mom did this all the time, only put up beautiful coffee mugs in your little coffee station. Beautiful mugs, things that make you feel beautiful when you brew your coffee. Put your sugar in a beautiful cup. Always light a candle. When you open up your linen closet, does it look jarbled and cluttered and bad? Or do you have beautiful linens folded so that when you open it, it's beautiful? Take the time to purge and to give stuff away and to redo and fold and to put things away beautifully. Do this over a period of time. Write it in your plan book. This is my action plan for revamping, redoing all things beautiful. So it's a call out and it's a challenge for you moms to really start digging out. Same with your wardrobe, with body. Start digging out those old undergarments, okay? And it's probably best you throw those away and buy yourself new undergarments. I mean, I have been guilty of it myself, and I know my friends have been, where they're really literally living in hold up undies and stuff. I'm like, no. We need to feel beautiful. Let's have nice undergarments. Let's have a beautiful pajamas when we go to bed, or nice jammies, or whatever you choose, just feel everything you do it beautifully. Okay, that's my challenge. And in your home, start to purge the things, get rid of things, replenish with things that are fresh, new, and that give you joy. Okay, if it doesn't give you joy, don't keep it. I mean, so that's how we can start to really understand and enjoy our role and be in our homes and be domesticated divas. I mean, why not? Our husbands love it, our children love it, our families love it, to be able to nurture our families, and it nurtures their souls. So when we live beautifully, and then you pass that on to your children and your daughters, and they continue that on. You want to break any kind of generational yuckiness where sweats is your mainstay and you constantly drink out of plastic and you eat off paper plates. Begin to understand that at dinner time you don't use paper plates, you use good plates, because that's your family. I mean, that is they're worthy of having beautiful plates for dinner. I mean, when else? It's not just for the holidays, it's for every night. It's dinner, and you use your best plates and your good plates. You don't use paper plates. So I want you to begin to change your mindset with that, and just to be able to not only speak over your family, take care and purge your own personal belongings and to replenish with things that are beautiful, but then also too in the home. And I remember if my mom was going to ever deep clean, she's like, you know what, I'm going to get a new feather duster, I'm going to get a new candle, I'm going to concentrate on the kitchen, and that's what she would do. So everything that made her feel inspired, she would go and get, even if it was a new feather duster or something like that. So I want you to change that mindset, because man, it's going to change your life, and I'm not kidding. It definitely has mine. Over in the soul, I kind of toss around a little bit, but understanding your gifts and talents is very much so vital. Definitely. I want you to know what they are. They're always right underneath your nose. Whatever you tend to go towards, whatever you gravitate towards, that's usually where you're gifted and where you're talented and what you enjoy. So you need to find out what you love to do, and you need to pursue it and see. I mean, sometimes it's a trial and error and it's a journey, but enjoy it with this process, because it is going to be revealed. And then pretty soon, when you combine, like we talked last time, your passion with your talent is like boom, and it's awesome. So I want you to be able to find things and understand and unveil what you're passionate about along with your talents, and watch things just manifest, okay? Also, I want to talk a little bit about sowing and reaping. I know this is something that's a universal thing, and it is very biblical. But how many times have we ever thought, or we've held a grudge, or someone has hurt our feelings, and we hold on to that grudge. You know, that literally is blockage for us. When we hold on to a grudge, or someone has said something about us that is untrue, what's the first thing we do? We call up our parents or our mother, we call up our BFFs, we call up all these friends, and we start talking about it. And little do we know that the longer we keep talking about the injustice that was done, that it keeps the incidents ongoing in our lives. Until we can release that and forgive that, we will be free of it. If we keep it and keep talking about it, and she said this, and can you believe it, and I you know, and she said I was this and this and this, then it will stay in your life. You will always have trouble in your life in that area if you keep that up. So you need to be able to release it, and you need to be able to forgive it. You cannot hold on to that kind of thing, because it'll just it'll stay right there in your circle, and it's like you'll never get rid of it. So you need to be able to release that and sow seeds that are you know, where you're just literally just rebuking that and saying, no, this is what I know is true. Because we know in Philippians 4:8, we want to make sure that whatever we think of, if it doesn't line up with everything that is true and noble and respectful and right and pure and wholesome and lovely and peaceful, then it is not truth. So do not accept any truth. Don't accept anything that isn't truth. If it doesn't line up with that, or doesn't line up with truth, then you need to get rid of it. And you don't say it, and you don't keep talking about it, okay? You take it in, you feel it, and then you get rid of it. You bounce it right back off. You know, that when you do keep it, you're giving it permission to exist into your life. You don't want to do that. You do not want someone else to have that much control over you. So, and anything that does kind of come in, and we're talking about speaking things, you know, if something comes in, or a toddler screaming, or something is coming and hurting you and coming at you, then I just like to even just like with Jesus on the storm on the boat, it's kind of like just peace, be still. And I was kind of learning that and heard that, and I thought that's so perfect, and I've been doing it, and it's been really great. I've already been doing that, and this has just been awesome. It's literally just saying, you know, peace, you know, just peace, be still. Just things fall into place, and you want to just always align those things with what is true. And so we don't want to get swept up when someone comes into our life and starts aggravating us, because then that's just a downward spiral. You're just going to want to rebuke it and take it and throw it back out. And so, you know, when I use this section, I kind of write down my I statements, okay, over in my soul. It's kind of like, I am blessed, I am prosperous, I am beautiful, I am just all those things that you desire and you want. I am kind, I am giving, I am loyal, I am faithful, I am healed. All of those things you're going to want to write down. Write it in your soul section and write down those I's, because you're speaking it and it's going out into the universe, and it activates God to move. You don't want to speak anything that goes against what is true, or you bind God's hands, and that is for real. So that is from a believer's standpoint, and it's just been an amazing thing for me to change the way I talk. Because I tell you what, I have a dog that I don't really like, okay? And he has eaten more baked goods off of my counter than I can count. And all the time when I see that thing walk into my house, I'm like, idiot. You know, I honestly, that was like, pretty soon I can hear my toddler, idiot, you know? So I've had to change, guys. I totally have had to change. I'm like, nice doggy, you know, let's go outside. So it's kind of like you have to believe what you speak, and I'm getting there, okay? I'm totally getting there. But at least I'm not speaking things that are negative. You don't want to speak negative. And in your home, speak that truth. Speak everything lovely over your kids. That means speaking things over your kids. I have caught myself sometimes, if my kids aren't, like my boys in particular, if they're not moving and they're looking sloth-like, I'll be like, you're acting really lazy right now and it's bugging me. Okay, so I'll say something like that. And I was like, you know what, Jenny, you're going to have to change the way you speak to them, because I want them to know that they are amazing, that they're going to be leaders, that they are going to change the world, that they're going to be godly men, and they're going to be just wonderful, that they've got a big huge, that God has big huge plans for them. And so I don't want to go anything against even that truth, even though I wasn't saying you're lazy. I tried to reword it so it sounded better to me. You're acting lazy, but still, that's like throwing out there something that they shouldn't even associate with themselves, because then it's just, again, giving permission. Like, well, she said I'm lazy, and pretty soon you just start to believe what you hear. You just do. You want to say things so that pretty soon you believe these things. You believe you're thin. You believe you're gonna go get it. You believe you're talented. You believe you can write that book you've always wanted to write. You believe these things, and pretty soon it just floods in with manifestation. So I want you to keep at it, and it's practice, honestly, because speaking the truth all the time is hard, because I think we're just so used to saying things that bug us. And believe me, I'm in a rental home right now, and I can't throw my tampons down the toilet, okay? That sucks. And then I've got, in my kitchen sink, I don't have a disposal, and so all my food just sits in there in my sink. My kids are like, with all their food. I gotta like scrape it out, like throw it in the trash. And you know how many times I want to grumble and complain and be like irritated, but I'm like, no, I am blessed. I am building a house. This is temporary, and bless this day. I am very blessed, and that's what I'll say instead. So I'm catching myself, and it's kind of those things like, anything that you hate, don't grumble. And that kind of reminded me too, and I heard this, and I thought it's perfect how the Israelites, when they were out there wandering for 40 days, and they were full of grumbling all the time, and they never did make it, that first generation, to the promised land, because they kept grumbling and complaining, and they never believed, and they just kept grumbling. You need to stop the complaining and the grumbling and everything that goes on in your life. You need to make sure that you are full of faith that things are going to come to pass as though God says that they will. And if you don't understand what God truly has for you as a believer, it is huge. And you have a lot more control than you think you do, because God has really given us an authority that can help us control things in our life. And it's really, really a wonderful thing. And one of those things is virtually just speaking things into action, as God did with the earth. And you virtually can speak those things into play. If you and same with anything that's ugly. If you're going to say it ugly, it's going to happen. Now, I know I saw someone in the group where even with their children, if they're having problems with restoration, I want you to always keep believing that it will be restored, because it will. Don't ever think of anything that's negative in that situation. And when it comes to our children, that can be something that can be very, very painful. And but I want you to always be looking for things and believing that God will take care of it, and take care of anything involved with our children. And just continuing like you did. You said you were sending her emails, and I even have a situation with mine that I have done that, where you just continue to just love them. And even though you're not getting the same reception back, you can just love them and love them and love them, and speak to them and love them, and do it in your journal, and talk and speak life into your home and your life. And believe me, you will reap the harvest of the sows of the seeds that you sow. So anything that you want manifested back, if you need money, you're giving money. If you need a better friends, then you be a friend. Sow those seeds. If you want your daughter to be a better daughter, then be a better mom in the best way that you can, and just hold your own self accountable, because you can only do you. You can't control anybody else. So you just do you and be the best you, and sow those seeds and keep at it, because then there's seasons for everything. But man, when harvest time comes, it's like and the harvest time is bountiful. And I really love writing in this format, separating it out by body, mind, and soul, because it kind of just sections things off a little bit. And even if it doesn't even make sense, if you're just writing down things and writing down your I ams and what you desire and things that are positive and things that are wonderful, then your life changes, because you can speak it out loud, you're writing it out, all of those things. That's how come I plan my day that way. You're actually professing what you want your life to be, and it will manifest. And that is 100% truth, scientifically and spiritually and biblically and everything else. So only speak the positive. I think we think that if we even flub up and we're just like, ah, crap, I'd rather die than do that. I mean, don't even speak those little stupid things. Say things only that you want to believe, because our body believes those things. And especially with healing, I mean, situations in my life and my children where you need healing and stuff, I truly believe that you can speak healing into your life, that God's given this authority to have healed bodies and not be defined by our sickness and be just trapped in that, because that's not hopeful. I want you guys to feel hope, and there is hope. And so writing these things down and saying, I am healed, I feel good, I am blessed, all of those things will then come to fruition for you. And girls, I really hope that you are enjoying the Project Me. It seems to be just going so amazing. I love all the support that everyone is doing with each other. I think it's so important for us women. So this week, I mean, go get yourself some new undergarments, okay? And listen to your body. Feel good underneath your clothes. We'll talk about even just wardrobe and makeup next time, because that's important too. But get those undergarments looking good. And so anyway, get going with that and learn to feel your body and know your body when it's hungry and when it's full, and don't eat out of those times. And knowing that nothing is off limits, but yet understand how to nourish your body and what is good for you, because you're going to want to nourish it, because you're going to feel more hungry more often if you don't, because your body's always going to be hungry for what is most nourishing for it. Okay, so you can even write down then there are things that maybe you want to break a habit of, whether it be diet pop or that was something big for me in my 20s. I was a Diet Pepsi drinker big time. So but I broke that habit, and I don't even like pop hardly anymore. But if I do, I'll just drink regular pop. I'll be like, I'll have it. I'm hungry and I can drink that. It's kind of like that. And once in a while, that's what's so fun. And you don't have to worry about gaining 15 pounds. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like anything within that hunger context. If you're nourishing your body, and of course you can PM me. So, I just go through that with your body. Get some new undergarments this week if you can, if budget allows. If not, find out when budget does allow and plan it out. That's what I do. I'll be like, hey, this week I'm saving money. I've even discussed if you've got to buy less food and get creative and bake something wholeheartedly instead, then do that. And then remember, over in mind, start writing down things about just speaking truth into you, and what you can in your mind, what only accept what is truth. If someone says something that is mean to you, evaluate it to see if it lines up to who God says you are. And if it doesn't line up, verbally rebuke it, speak it, rebuke it, and then counter it with truth. So just counter it. And if you ever find yourself, I saw someone else, I think it was Tracy, she had said something, man, I flubbed up, I just blew up with my son, or I got upset with my son, or something like that. Great. Nothing is at a loss. You can counter it, and you can, number one, ask him to forgive you. What a better lesson. I mean, we all can do that. That's how they learn grace and forgiveness and how to have relationships. Now they know, oh, well, mom says sorry, so this is what you do if I do mess up, which you will. I mean, you're not perfect. So just saying you're sorry, and they can see what that looks like firsthand. Again, being a leader and an inspiration to your children. And then just also countering it with truth. So then just tell him what you would have wanted to say if you would have had your mind in the right place. That's all you gotta do. Counter it back out. Counter it counter it. That's all you got to do. So, and then make sure that over in remembering reaping and sowing, remember to forgive people that hurt you. It is for your benefit, not theirs. They could have people that, you know, there's people that probably don't even care that they hurt you and they did it on purpose, but you still need to forgive them so that you are not clogged up with that bitterness. You need to make sure that you are forgiving people that have hurt you. You just do, and it's for your own benefit. So make sure that you do. And I've had to do it several times and lately. So I know that it can be very hard, but you need to believe it and just let it go. And it's so freeing and it's so amazing to be able to do that. So the sowing and the reaping, make sure you're sowing the right seeds. And so start writing in that section of the soul of just the different seeds you can sow, you know, like if you want certain things, then sow those things and it'll all come right back at you. It's just how it works, and it's an absolute law. So work on those things and use this beautiful Project Me book to just script that all out and act on it. And it's just going to be such an amazing journey, this whole Project Me thing. I'm just so excited. I think next week for sure we're going to kind of talk about more of recipes. I'm going to show you something I've made. At least that's what I've planned. So I'm hoping that I can get that together for you girls. Also kind of a wardrobe. I know maybe that's not for everyone, but I think it's fun. Instead of being deep every single time, but also just, you know, some makeup tips. And I'm not a pro, but I've got some tips up my sleeve I can share. Yeah, so we're gonna have fun. And so anyway, keep on sharing. Thanks for popping in. I don't know how long, 26 minutes, ain't bad. So woo, I'm off to the beach today with my babies. So they're texting me. So I've lost my train of thought several times because I could see it across my screen. They're texting me. They're like, get out of your room, Mom. So anyway, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. And I just speak that over your lives right now, that you're going to have an amazing day and that you will be blessed and find favor throughout your whole day. So girls, I'm just crazy about you, and just know that I am praying for you in this group, and I will see you throughout the week and then next Friday too. So thanks, guys.